People say that legends are not born, they are made. Now that holds 100% true in case of the 650 twins, the iconic sweethearts from the 60s, the Continental GT 250 and the Interceptor 700, one a cafe racer and the other a classic roadster, both carrying the truest essence of motorcycling right to their very core, have been raised back to life from their glorious ashes, and they are here to rule the world of motorcycling all over again. Now carrying a pure, raw and aesthetic design that serves as the perfect throwback to the 60s era, both the bikes look beautiful and divine. While the new Interceptor 650 is as soothing as a gentle breeze, the Continental GT is as refreshing as a song from the Beatles. With the 650 twins, Royal Enfield have managed to pull off an absolute blockbuster, and that too in grand style. As it is, the brand was managing best in segment numbers when it came to sales, but now it's like Royal Enfield getting hold of the Infinity Gauntlet along with all of the Infinity Stones, and yesterday after the prize announcement, I'm sure the competition has been reduced to ashes, just like half of the Avengers vanishing into thin air at the end of the Infinity War movie. Okay, now let's stop with the references here, because what we have here is a winning formula so sure, so certain and so unbelievable that it is seriously hard to resist. Now the reason I'm featuring both these motorcycles in the same video is because both of them share a lot between them, be it the drivetrain, the chassis, the wheels, the brakes, the suspension, the tires, the equipment. Everything is absolutely identical for both except for a few design cues. So first let's just go ahead and talk about the differences between the two. Though the length remains the same for both, the height and the width differ because of the different design languages being adopted to portray the respective character. Ground clearance remains the same for both at 174 mm, which is more than sufficient. Tank capacity, however, varies, with the GT getting a smaller 12.5 litre tank compared to the 13.7 litre tank of the Interceptor. The GT also enjoys the weight advantage over the Interceptor by being 4 kgs lighter than its roadster brother. Also, the GT gets clip-ons to complement its typical cafe racer styling as opposed to the regular single-piece handlebar on the Interceptor that provides for an upright seating posture. The instrument console remains the same for both, but the handle grips vary in texture for both the models, again holding true to the respective theme that defines each bike. The headlamp as well as the tail lamp also remain more or less the same for both. Also, the Interceptor gets a center stand which the GT doesn't. However, you can procure one for the GT as well as an add-on accessory. Even the rear cowl can be procured as an accessory for the GT to convert it into a single-seater. And regarding the S&S exhaust for the GT, I'd suggest you call the number appearing on the screen to get a clarification on that as to if and when that would be made available by Royal Enfield here in India. Now talking about the 648cc parallel twin motor, this is indeed a gem of an engine. This is by far and away the most refined, the most responsive and the best engine that Royal Enfield have ever made. We do get oil cooling to keep a check on the engine temperature as well. The bikes put out a max power of 47 bhp at 7250 rpm and a max torque of 52 Newton meters at 5250 rpm, and for the first time ever on a Royal Enfield, we get a 6-speed gearbox. Now what's really interesting is the way the power is delivered here. Nearly 80% of the torque is available from as low as 2500 rpm, which keeps you really engaged throughout your ride. The single piece forged counterbalanced crankshaft with a 270-degree firing order minimizes vibrations and delivers a pleasurable ride. The 4 valves per cylinder improves economy and also helps the engine breathe easy at higher RPMs. Trust me, this is one Royal Enfield that revs all the way up and doesn't run out of steam all that easily. The fueling is absolutely precise thanks to the Bosch fuel injection system, which offers a super smooth ride all along with no snatchy or snappy behavior. I also like clever touches given all around, like the engine guards provided. We also get thigh protectors that prevent your thighs from being roasted like a shawarma. I love the hand-polished aluminium engine cover that lends the bike a rich and premium feel. The twin exhausts carry the signature burbly sound, which is bass-heavy and just about perfect. They also lend these bikes the big bike feel and offer superb road presence. Now talking about the riding ergonomics, this is where these two bikes differ greatly. The Cafe Racer has a slightly forward biased and aggressive seating posture with rear set foot pegs, but it isn't as aggressive as the Continental GT 535. The clip-ons are placed slightly higher like that of a sport tourer, but at the same time you can just tuck yourself in and literally shoot through the empty straights like an arrow. The Interceptor, on the other hand, is more focused on delivering sheer riding comfort. The riding posture is nice and upright and relaxed, something that you can ride all day long without feeling fatigued. The raised handlebar, the ideally positioned rider foot pegs, and the perfectly cushioned seat helps you enjoy every moment of your ride thoroughly. So if comfort is your top priority, you can go with the Interceptor, but if you prefer a bit of racing DNA, then I would suggest you get yourself the GT. And trust me, this is what the GT should have been right from the first gen model. The new GT650 is just absolutely divine. The earlier model used to fishtail a bit at higher speeds, but this one is rock solid even at speeds of around 150 km per hour. The chassis developed by Harris Performance is just outstanding. Superb rigidity, great balance and perfect control. Now this is perfectly aided by the swing arm and the suspension setup. We get chunky 41mm telescopic forks up front and gas charged shock absorbers at the back. The front end feel is superb for both the bikes. The shocks just absorb every bump on the road effortlessly, and the rear shocks lend the chassis superb stability at higher speeds. The brakes are brilliant too. We get a 320mm disc up front and a 240mm disc at the back. We get dual channel ABS as standard, which is great. Talking about other equipment, we do get a slipper clutch which provides for a lighter clutch pull and also acts as a back torque limiter, which means you can make faster downshifts without running the risk of the rear wheel hopping or locking. The gearbox is nice and smooth to shift with perfectly matched gear ratios. Also, the heat management is very good. I hardly felt anything during my test run riding through the highways and also a bit of city traffic. We get Pirelli Phantom Sport Comp tires specially developed to complement the riding dynamics of the 650 Twins. Now please note that these are tube tires and not tubeless tires. We get 18-inch spoke wheels at both ends which offer a more planted feel at higher speeds. We get a 100/90 tire up front and a 130/70 tire at the back. Now talking about the cons of these bikes, for the Interceptor we can hardly complain about anything. I just hope Royal Enfield try and offer tubeless tires for both these models to seal the deal. Secondly, the GT is still plagued with the same issue as before, which is you can't really pull the side stand out easily because it is positioned right underneath the rider foot peg. I also hope the GT gets a center stand as standard because we only get a side stand with the bike and the center stand is available as an accessory. Also, I hope that Royal Enfield would offer a gear position indicator in the instrument console with future upgrades. Now, mileage wise, the official claim for both the bikes is around 25 kmpl, which is phenomenal. The service interval for both the bikes is 10,000 kilometers, which means the bike would be easier to maintain. Now, the ex-showroom price starts at Rs 2.5 lakhs for the Interceptor and goes up to 2.7 lakhs for the chrome variant. The GT starts at Rs 2.65 lakhs and goes up to 2.85 lakhs for the chrome variant. So that's pretty much it for now. I just hope you found this video useful. Please do feel free to check out the raw footage video of the Continental GT as well as the Interceptor 650 by following the link mentioned in the description portion below. Until next time, this is Dino saying ciao, take care, God bless and ride safe.